Hey beautiful people, welcome back to my channel Wake Up Bright, where I share all of the things that help me live each day a little brighter. I'm April Lauren and I'm on a journey to lose 200 pounds, now 150 pounds, and I just completed 75 hard. This is my review video. So I did day 75, I was exhausted, it was not a super upbeat video. I'll tag it up at top. I went into sections, meaning I did a video for the first 25, the second 25, and then I've done quite a few videos for there at the end, so I'll just put them all in a playlist for you. But in this video, I'm going to review 75 hard, what I think about it. I'm gonna do plus deltas, talk about if I would do it again, talk about what I read, talk about how much weight I lost, which is just a side effect. It was not the goal. I mean, weight loss is my overreaching goal in life right now, but my focus for 75 hard was not weight loss. And we're gonna talk about why. Let's talk about why I decided to do 75 hard right now. The short and sweet of it is I decided to do 75 hard because I needed to move more. That's the #1 reason. And also to solidify habits, I just needed some routine. In February when I started 75 hard, I had gotten into a really dark place and I needed something to focus on. I needed something to channel my energy towards, and I needed something just for me. So I started 75 hard and I didn't tell anyone except for my husband and my workout buddy Yenna, and I just started. And it wasn't until I was about 25 days in, almost 25 days in, that I brought it up at all on my channel. And I just wanted it for me. Part of me wishes I would have kept it under wraps the whole way, but I am glad I did that first 25 video, first 50, and then the final video. I think that it's very helpful to look back on those for me, and also it kind of shows, like, I feel like the phases of 75 hard, and the phases of 75 hard are what I want to talk about next. So I really would say there's, like, for me there's 4 phases of 75 hard. So there's the first 25 days. In the first 25 days, I was like super gung-ho about 75 hard. I was determined. I also got some unexpected backlash for doing it, but it wasn't during the first 25 days was like a honeymoon period. It was all roses and, like, it was super exciting. It was very rewarding because I was being successful at increasing my daily steps, and everything was happening at a very fast rate. Like, I was improving my ability to walk more miles a day very rapidly, and I was losing weight, not necessarily super rapidly in the grand scheme of like rapid weight loss, but for me on my journey so far, I was losing weight a lot faster. And I think it's my shock to my body adding the movement, and I know movement is what my journey has lacked up to this point. I work out a lot and it looks like I'm doing a lot, but when the rest of the day I'm not really moving much, I need those steps. I need to get those steps in, and that's one thing that 75 hard helped me with so much. And going back to phase one I would call the honeymoon phase. During phase 1, or the honeymoon phase as I'm calling it, I was all in, as I said, gung-ho, and my rapid progress, especially with mobility, made me feel so happy that I ignored or I didn't notice the bad parts or any pain or anything. I was just in a zone. I was in the zone. I was in love with 75 hard. I felt super energized and I was just excited, you know? Phase 2, so day 26 through day 50, was definitely more challenging for me. A lot of other YouTubers put videos out that was very like anti 75 hard, which no one had a video that I completely disagreed with, and nobody had a video that I completely agreed with. I think the idea of 75 hard and doing 75 hard it's something individual, and it's not for everyone, and everything about it is not for everyone. And I think, yeah, I've already shared my thoughts on that, so I'll put a tag up to that video as well. So the second 25 days, I had more negative feedback and things on my channel. And I internalized that a little bit more than I should, which is why I'm now going to be a little bit ahead of what I'm sharing online. That way I'm not as affected by it. In my like current state, I've already thought of solutions or moved past wherever I am. So I am hoping that works for me. But back to phase 2. Phase 2 wasn't super terrible. It was like, oh, this is why it's, you know, challenging. This is where like the mental toughness is. I got this. Kind of perusing on forward, but it was a little bit more challenging. Days 51 through 60, same thing for me. It was still challenging, but I was like, why does everybody think this is so hard? Like, I was still kind of in that mindset. Like, I hadn't really struggled very much with doing it. However, and I kept having thoughts, especially like in the first phase, like I'm like, I should just start over. I should just start it over, because I just wanted to stay in that. I didn't want to start 75 hard over per se. I didn't want the feelings that I had at the beginning of 75 hard to end. And they really didn't until like day 61 through 75. And every day was harder than the day before. From 61 to 75 hard, I was exhausted. I still took active rest days, and active rest days are great, but the kind of that commitment I made to myself, which I kept, and that has done so much for me and like my faith in my own abilities to commit and keep commitments that I've made to myself. But it was hard. I was exhausted. My life was also just getting stressful, more stressful once I got to that point, and it's just gotten even more stressful now, but now I'm at least getting sleep, so I'm less affected by it. But because I was so stressed out just with life things unrelated to 75 hard and things, it was pretty awful. Day 61 through 75 taught me that I can do hard things. I can keep commitments to myself. I don't have to stop. However, I also am very comfortable. How do I say this? I feel like I found a limit there. I feel like I can push through really hard and tough things, and I feel that I already had that skill. That type of mental toughness, to a large degree, I already had. And I think a challenge for me is sometimes you don't have to, and yet you don't have to give it all up when you don't, which I also like about 75 hard. Because with 75 hard, if you do mess up, you're supposed to start back at day 1 and keep that commitment. So you're supposed to continue like this forward progression with yourself. And I like that. I like that mindset. And that's something I struggle with. Messing up and then giving up, or deciding that I need to, I don't know, just falling off the handle for a long period of time. This next part of the 75 hard review video that I'm doing, I want to talk plus deltas. So plus deltas are essentially like the upsides and the downsides. And I feel like there's a lot of upsides. So let's chat about those. The first plus side is that I really established some good habits and routines, and I also learned how I'm capable of building those habits and routines and staying consistent with more than I thought that I could do. I learned that I could push harder and make the hard things routine, and I really appreciated that. The second plus, I felt super empowered as the days went by and I continued to stick to it. I felt such a sense of achievement in keeping a commitment to myself, and I really appreciated that with 75 hard. Third thing that I find a plus of 75 hard is that I found that it gave me motivation to stay on track on my weight loss journey. By that, I mean, when I had the period where I felt out of control, I almost had like a binge episode, and I'll put a tag to that video up here. I recovered quickly. It wasn't 75 hard that stopped it. I think it was partly my commitment to myself in a way. It was having some space and time to think. And then normally when that has happened in my life before, even if I don't go out of control in the moment, then the days after that, it's hard for me to stay on track, to get like off of this like beating myself up train and get back on track. So with 75 hard, I knew what I was doing the next day. Even if I would have binged or whatever, I knew I would be starting 75 hard over again. And having that knowledge, like it was a sure thing to me. Just, it felt empowering. It felt great to know that I had that routine. There's some safety in routines, and I really like that. The fourth thing that I consider a plus for doing 75 hard, my husband was able to support me in a different way. So was my friend Yenna. They knew what I was doing, and I had very clear boundaries, and it was very obvious how they could contribute, going for walks with me, or with me and Yenna and working out. And they just knew what I was trying to accomplish, and they cheered me on. I don't know how to describe it other than that. It's not that they don't cheer me on just on my weight loss journey in general, but like it was different because there was like a deadline. And it kind of makes me think, in my weight loss journey, I need to set, and this is nothing new, but it's like a aha moment for me. I need to set more incremental goals than just having like, hi, I'm April and I'm on a journey to lose 200 pounds. I think I need to focus on like, I'm gonna lose 20 pounds. Like my goal is to lose, like where it's more manageable bites, but do it in a way where that's celebrated and allows the people around me to cheer for me should they want to. And especially like my husband. And I think that'll really help me. And 75 hard, having that 75-day block, it just really helped. It really helped my friends and family encourage me in a different way, and I like it. Very biggest plus that I have for doing 75 hard is that I moved more. Having 2 45-minute workouts, one of those was always outside, right? I walked. For that second workout, I always walked, and that helped me increase my daily steps so much. And I needed that. I need those extra steps. I need that movement. And it did a few things for me. One, now I know that I can move more. I can do, like, I started walking my dogs more and by myself. Before I started doing 75 hard, I would only walk them away from my house, like with my husband. So it's been very good for me. It's been very good for my little family. So those are the pluses. As far as the deltas or things that could have gone a lot better, I feel, and I mean, maybe these are just the negative parts of 75 hard, and maybe it's not just like maybe there's no positive spin on this part, but by the end of 75 hard, especially days 61 through 75, all of the things that I find joy in, it was harder to find joy in them. I put off my walks, and so I was doing a lot of walks late at night. So like enjoying the beauty of the world around me, like, was no longer effective. And if I was just better scheduled, so if I do 75 hard again, I think I'll add a stipulation that these things need to be done in a more timely manner. And then I don't know how it would improve. I really started to dread my workouts, and working out is my happy place. I love working out. I really love hiking. And now that I'm able to, I'm excited that some of the things that I'm passionate about in life, I'm more capable of doing now. I'm more capable of doing yoga now. And yeah, so it's definitely not a good thing when you dread doing the things that bring you joy. And I feel like something about the structure and I think it's the not having rest, like having a day off. And it's not even about physical rest, even it's just mentally, like it's mentally draining and exhausting to not have a day away from having to do those things. So I think, yeah, as far as 75 hard, I don't know that there's a solution that would make that easier or better. And I think that's also part of the mental toughness aspect, is that you get to a point where you're not motivated. You're not motivated to do it. It's not because it makes me happy that I was doing it. I was doing it because it was my objective. It was my mission to do those things. I don't think. So that's the plus delta part of 75 hard. And moving on to the books I read during 75 hard. I have a whole little stack right here. Ugh. I read a lot. I like to read before 75 hard. I hadn't done a lot of reading in a while, and some of these books I loved, and some of them it was a chore to read. I'll just touch on, I'm not going to say a lot about each book, but I will share my thoughts. I loved this book. I loved Green Lights. I like the moral behind it. I liked his style of writing. I thought it was really good. I learned a lot from Matthew McConaughey, and I would recommend reading this. These two all put up together. These two I read each in about a day. I'm a pretty fast reader, and 25 hours a day. These are in the next year. They're not hard to read books. Matthew McConaughey's book, I think I read it in about 4 days. And I started with just doing 10 pages, and I was just doing, so that's what I started with. And then all of a sudden, I got about 3 days into Matthew McConaughey's book, so I guess about 30 pages in, and I was just like, boom, oops, I read it. And then the next couple days I read these 2 books. So the next year was extremely surprising to me. When I first started reading it, the intro and the first chapter, so I wasn't super, I didn't feel like it was gonna be my cup of tea, but it just got me, and by the end I was bawling. And this book is a definite recommend. I would be patient with the beginning, and it might not be your story, but there's so much to take away from this book. And 25 Hours a Day by Nick Bare, I enjoyed it as well. Is that they are married. Somebody actually asked me, I don't know at what point 75 hard I was in, but they're like, did you read the book? And I didn't even know there was a book. So I had done a lot of research on Line and stuff. I think maybe at one point I knew there was a book, but no, I hadn't read it. And then I read it, and it's another one that's it's an easy read. It's not the most well-written book, but it's a very easy read, and it was very helpful. If you're gonna do 75 hard, I definitely recommend it. I just kind of turned to this, and I really like it. So do you think The Rock cares about how many likes his post gets or how high his engagement on social media is? Again, yes, but only to evaluate, not to validate. Those are just clues to help guide him. They aren't even remotely critical to his confidence or sense of who he is. He acknowledges the data, but he doesn't need it to know he's on the right path. Dwayne Johnson has proven over and over and over again that he can trust the promises he makes to himself, and he always follows through with his plans to excel at everything he does. He doesn't need my like or yours to convince him of that. If you persevere through 75 hard and execute like you are supposed to, that will happen. That's how you'll start to look at your progress pic. You'll care, but you won't care. That is so true. I was thinking about that before I started this video. I wasn't planning on reading that, but I was thinking about that and how people said the daily progress picture was so unhealthy, but I never looked at it as a daily comparison. Even from the beginning I didn't, but towards the end, the energy I put into the picture was a lot less. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, you could look at the pictures and see, and we'll look at the progress pictures in a little bit, but I thought that was really interesting, and it definitely became that where I didn't really even look. If it wasn't that I had to upload the picture to the app after taking it, because I took it with my camera that I'm recording this on, and then I would just transfer it over, then I would upload it into the app. I really wouldn't have cared about the picture at all. So very interesting. The next book that I read was Own the Day. This book I do not recommend. It really wasn't all bad. there's a couple chapters in it. I actually have a video idea where I might go through a couple days and like do the day that he talks about doing in here, but I just thought it would be interesting because it's such an it is an interesting day, and I do think that there's helpful things. I really liked the morning routine that he talked. There's a few things in here that are really helpful. Maybe if I ever do a book club, I'll talk more in depth or do like a book review, but I don't recommend Own the Day, Own Your Life. It's not what I thought it was going to be. Girl on Fire, it was okay. I feel like it's a look right now, like the way it matches my top. But it's not necessarily one that was life-changing. I mean, that's extreme. It was not. It was a very easy read. I did not feel like I got a ton from it. I recommend this to my friends or my sisters as like a book that they would need to read. So I'm not going to recommend it to you because you are my friend. I feel so negative right now. Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits it had a couple of chapters that really hit me, that I really gained a lot or gleaned a lot from. But I also read The Power of Habit a few years ago, and I feel like I got a lot. It was a lot harder read because it was a little bit more boring. There were lots of studies and stuff that it went through, but I feel like I got a lot more out of Habits reading that than this one. But I did really like a few chapters in Atomic Habits, and I would definitely say it's beneficial to read this book, especially if you haven't read books on habits specifically. I didn't enjoy reading it. Like, I thought I was gonna enjoy this book a lot, and it was lukewarm. Can't Hurt Me. I read this all the way through, but I also listened to it, and I think listening to Can't Hurt Me when I first started is part of the reason why I had such a long honeymoon phase. It just, David Goggins just gets in your head. He just gets in your head, and I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this book. I enjoyed the things that I got from this book. I did order the clean edition. I didn't do that on purpose. Language doesn't typically bother me, especially if it's what the person uses, like on a regular basis. I would rather people be themselves, and I hope that people don't feel judged from me, even if it's not what I would typically like, or words that I would typically like. So I really liked Can't Hurt Me a lot, and I highly recommend it. This is a book that I ended 75 hard on. I have not completed it yet. I have already talked to you guys about this book once. I love this book. Set Boundaries, Find Peace, A Guide to Reclaiming Yourself. This book is amazing. It is amazing, and I highly recommend it. And I bought a bunch of other books to read during 75 hard. I don't know what I was thinking, that I was just gonna read a book every day. That first 25 days I was like, this is the best thing. I'm just reading all of these books. And yeah. Would I recommend 75 hard? Do I think that you should do 75 hard? And I don't think anyone should do or should not do 75 hard. I think it's such an individual thing. I do think going forward, I won't be, after completing it, I won't be encouraging anyone to do 75 hard. When I decided I wanted to do 75 hard, I was like, you should do it and you should do it. Not necessarily online, but to like my friends and family. I was calling my sister and I was like, we could do it. We could talk about it on the phone. And like, I think it's one of the, because I felt so exhausted by the end of it, I don't want anyone to feel that way because they're doing something that I encourage them to do and then feel guilted into completing it. Not that they would. I feel like my family and my friends are all very headstrong individuals. Like, I don't feel like I would wield that type of power over them. But let's say that I did, I wouldn't want anyone completing 75 hard because I was completing it. Or because I said that they should do it. It wasn't easy. And so, yeah, I would not necessarily recommend it, but I wouldn't tell anyone not to do it. And that being said, I would do 75 hard again. I'm not sure, I think I've shared this with you guys before. I think I might try to do 75 hard at the beginning of each year. Just something to focus on, something to challenge myself. And I don't know if I'm gonna commit to that or not, but right now it's a fun idea in my head. Just starting the new year with 75 hard, getting through the darker months with 75 hard. I think that's cool. I might like do something else. Last year I did Fituary. I'll probably do Fituary for my channel again, and that would not be related to 75 hard. Although a lot of it overlapped. Like in my Fituary, I had like spend 15 minutes a day outside and like things like that. So we shall see. I've been talking so much in this video. Okay, so the next part of 75 hard that I wanted to share is that, so not only would I do 75 hard again, I'm thinking about doing phase 1. I'm pretty sure once we relocate, I'm gonna do phase 1 of 75 hard. It's gonna be in the middle of the summer. I feel like a cold shower sounds nice, actually. And I might fall flat on my face, and we'll see how it all goes. I don't know. Right now I have family in town, so right now as I'm recording this, and I'll share more details about the family visit, but I want to stay on track, and I'm already struggling. And it's not because 75 hard is over or anything. It's because of the stress of all of the things going on in my life right now, and the fact that I know that it's for the next month or so, it's just going to continue to get more and more stressful until boom, it'll settle right back down. And so I think at some point I'm gonna start something else. I also plan on training with FitLab. I feel like some of you guys have seen him in the comments on my premiere videos and stuff. He's awesome. He volunteered to work with me, and I was like, you know, that would be awesome to do right when I first moved so that I stay on track. So the second to last thing that I want to talk about in this video is how much weight I lost doing 75 hard. 75 hard is not a diet. I already was trying to lose weight. So the diet portion of 75 hard is just for you to pick a healthy way of eating and you stick to it. I chose like to stay within a caloric range and to write all of the food that I ate down. And then I didn't do any like desserts or things like that during 75 hard. So in 75 hard, I started at 314 pounds and I ended 75 hard at 297.2 pounds. So that was my 75 hard weight, and I lost 16.8 pounds total. So that's quite a bit for 75 days. I'm pretty proud of my weight loss during that period of time. And yeah. The very last thing that I want to touch on before I wrap up this video, why I think I was successful doing 75 hard. And I think the biggest thing, the biggest reason I was successful doing 75 hard is because I was already doing a lot of the things anyway. There were just, for months, I was wanting to increase my daily steps, and I kept failing to do that. And I really saw 75 hard as an opportunity to really commit to doing that, to increasing my daily steps. And I'm excited to go forward and keep these habits. So as far as 75 hard habits that I plan on keeping my gallon of water a day. I plan on keeping like a walk and a workout a day, but I don't plan on doing 45 minutes. And I do plan on taking at least one day where I'll still walk the babies, but it'll be leisurely and it will be for as long as I feel like. If I feel like walking my dogs on an off day for an hour, I will. If I feel like walking them for 10 minutes, that's what we'll do. And I feel like taking the time limits off of the workouts is important, because you can get a really good workout in 15 minutes. A 15-minute HIIT session, if you go all in, you don't need 45 minutes. So diet-wise, I plan on continuing to eat healthy, and I don't know if I'll continue to track everything. It really stresses me out. Tracking my food just period stresses me out. I feel like in order to lose, I need to track. And I think that that frustrates me and makes me feel resentful. And so I don't really know what to do with that. But the other part of why I think I was successful of doing 75 hard is when all of the videos kind of came out against doing 75 hard. As someone who has a lot of weight to lose, I feel like that just made me double down on, like, I'm super stubborn and super hard-headed, and I had already decided it was going to be something good for me to do for myself, and I made that promise to myself, and so it just added a little fuel to my fire. But at the end of the day, I am just so happy that I made this commitment to myself and I kept it. I kept this promise that I made to myself, and that's wonderful. It's such a good feeling, and I don't think you have to do 75 hard in order to experience that feeling. That it came from 75 hard for me, but that doesn't mean for everyone it has to be through 75 hard. So
we found love here, together we will shine, but we know we're running out of time, 'cause we met like strangers in the night. Don't tell me it's over now. You got that something in the way you smile. I see that spark lights in your dark blue eyes, so I can't let you go without telling you this now. I wanna see you again. I could travel 1,000 miles just to feel your arms around me. I could travel 1,000 miles just to feel your arms around me. I will give my love to you, but will I see you when I get there? I could travel 1,000 miles just to feel your arms around me. I will give my love to you, but will I see you when I get there?
anyway, thanks for watching my review video. If you have questions about 75 hard specifically, leave them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. I love you guys so much. I'll talk to you later.